everyone, and welcome back to Neecee Lexy. We are here live on our segment for the live interview segment with our entrepreneurs from around the world, as well as artists. And I have with us here Shalli. Awesome.
Yeah.
Shalli. She's Toronto-based artist, R&B, pop, and songwriter, as well as she's better known for her soulful voice, complex melodies, and infectious rhythm. She's born in Dominica to a Dominican parents and Jamaican mix, and well known around Toronto scenery for the music industry. I am super honored to have her here with us today. So could you please tell us more about yourself and who you are, and also pronounce the name correctly to the people here?
That's okay. There's a few pronunciations. So my name is Shalli, but my father's from Dominica, and it is not the same as the Dominican Republic. But sometimes I'm just making that clarification because sometimes people think it's the same.
Yeah.
Yes, as you said, my mother's from Jamaica. I've been doing music for a while. That's all I will say. Quite many years. Okay, been over 5 years, maybe longer, in the music industry doing my thing. And I sing, I write, I creative direct, I arrange, I assist the producers that I work with. Just to build a good sound. And right now I'm excited because I have a new project coming out in fall, and I'm just so happy. It's like the best work I've ever done. So I'm really excited for that.
Super excited. And you have a very unique and beautiful name. So can you tell us what is the meaning behind that name, and how did you come about it? Is it like a stage name, or is it actually the name that you have it? Because it's such a beautiful name. Rare.
It is a mix of my birth name, my first name, and my last name. So I've been called Shah by my peers for years as a nickname. And there's an L-I in my last name. And so I just put it together, and it was Shalli, basically. And it is pretty unique. I can't say I've never seen it, but it's hard to find another Shalli out there, really. So, it is a name that I created, and I always wanted like a one title name, and it's unique to me because it includes my actual names.
It definitely is unique, and I can definitely see that. So first of all, I wanted to say congratulations on your new single, On One. What is the inspiration behind your latest single, if you want to explain more?
So my latest single, On One, if you listen to the lyrics, it is about a relationship, but it's also about a place where I am right now, just in my life. I've grown as a woman, I've grown as a musician, and I just feel like where I'm at, nobody can touch me. I just feel very confident in what I'm doing, and I just feel like I'm on top of things right now in my life, and that's something that money can't buy, and I just see some really big things happening for me, and I'm glad I can really see the vision more than I've ever had before. In the song, I am talking about a relationship also, where I'm just talking about, me and my mate, and how we've worked our butts off, and we've done everything we need to do as in a relationship. And there's a lot of people who are jealous of our rise as people, and they're looking on, and they're hating. But in the song, I'm saying, it doesn't matter because we're on one. It doesn't matter what they say. We know who we are. We know where we're at. So that's what it's about.
That's an amazing song, and I feel like a lot of people could actually relate to it, just because for the perspective of the relationship, as well as like having your own glow and having your own kind of stage in life where like you're so comfortable with who you are. So I feel like that music would resonate to a lot of people. So it's an incredible piece. Where can we find it or purchase it right now? Currently, where is it? The music that you released?
So On One, you can find anywhere that you stream music. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, anywhere that you stream music, you can find that song. And it is actually, it's the third single from my upcoming album, but it was definitely my first introduction to just some really fresh sounds that I'm playing with that is a little bit different from, my previous music that I was doing before. So yeah, definitely you can find it anywhere, and, look out because as the time goes and we get into closer to the new year, I will be putting out some visuals for that song, as well as some other big songs on this project that I'm coming out with. So
Awesome. So speaking of a big move that you're doing, as well as staying fresh with your tone, how would you describe your current music style?
Currently, my music style is definitely R&B pop. That's how I describe it, with bits of African and Caribbean music. As I said before, my parents are from the Caribbean, so that influence is there. My father, growing up, was a musician. He actually played African drums, but to Cuban music. So Afro-Cuban jazz was what he did. So
wow.
he, in studying as he did, I was exposed to so many different Brazilian, African, and Latin rhythms, as well as reggae and zouk, because he's from Dominica also. So and then I live in Canada, and I grew up amongst a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Africans, and the radio, we would have to really try to find R&B at a point, and we would find it, in Buffalo, and we've had a radio station here for a while, so just listening to the R&B on the radio, the hip hop. I grew up in the church, the gospel, all that. It's just all mixed into my music. And that's really what's influencing my style. So even though I say pop R&B, there's a lot that I feel like builds still the type of pop R&B that I do.
Yeah, it definitely, like, from the sense that I'm getting, is that you're very well rounded around like different mixture of musics, like even the taste of being your father from the islands and the Dominican, as well as having a mixture of the Afro beats and also the Afro Latino, all Indian, and now you're in Canada. I feel like the sound that you'll be bringing next for your new album obviously is going to have a lot of what's it called, unique tones that I'll be looking forward to listen to it. So do let us know once you have it done so that we can also help you promote it in our end. And so in terms of you being in the industry, because I know you've been in the industry for so long and you have a lot of experience from your parents, from your dad, as well as you as an artist alone. What would you say is your most memorable moment as an artist that you can share with us?
I had to write that one down because there are a lot of moments, but I'm going to talk in the present, like in the most recent. And honestly, finishing this project was one of, if not the most memorable moment of my whole career so far, because I've worked with just amazing producers, and I really, like I said, I've grown. So my confidence in terms of communicating what I want, exactly how I want it, and the people I've worked with being able to really trust me. I don't think I've worked to that level before, where I've really had almost, I don't want to say 100%, but almost 100%, like just input and influence in almost everything. And the sound quality is on another level from my previous project. And it's just undeniable. So I'm just so proud. When I first started writing and singing, I was intimidated to even write. I always sang, but I was intimidated because I know what good music is and I know what good writing is, and it's up here for me. And I wasn't sure if I would be able to get to that level. And I can honestly say that the music on this album coming up, I can play it with my peers that I look up to, and I feel proud. So definitely my most memorable moment is finishing this project.
Amazing. So what was the strategy that you used in order for you to reach to that level that you are today, to the level where you're so comfortable in writing, and level that you see, like, you know what, my music is actually great and that I'm going to be able to share with the world? So what was that strategy you used?
Well, number one, I keep I didn't find them. They just come to me, maybe because of the way I am, but I have a lot of real people around me. Everybody. So I don't necessarily play my music for all my friends and family while I'm making it, but even my manager, the producers that I work with, down to my engineer. If something is not quite right, or they're like,
Mm-hmm.
that little part right there, or if my manager's like, I think that verse needs to be reworked,
Mm-hmm.
I have to humble myself and listen. So the strategy is having those people, or finding those people and
Mm-hmm.
in my life, and then being humble enough to really take the criticism. But over time, I've been able to give myself that critique in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I kind of know what's up, but I still have an ear open for criticism. And if someone gives me that, I'm going to take a listen to see if I can really, see what they're saying. And I would
Yeah.
trust myself at this point to see. And sometimes I'll try what they're saying, even if I'm not sure. So those are the biggest things. If you're not humble in
Mm-hmm.
this industry enough to take feedback, if not from your peers, at least from those who are above you, who've been in it and know better, then I feel like, it's hard to really get things at a high level, you know what I mean? And really improve your skills. And practice is the next thing. You have to practice, but then the criticism comes in so you can, adjust the practice you're doing to get better and better. So I'm always seeking to get better.
This is definitely like one of a negative knowledge that I believe is very important for you to have like a listening ear and also to welcome criticism, because that's, as an artist, you'll be able to develop and able to improve. So thank you for pointing that out. So any of our younger audiences, people that are considering and entering the music industry, they'll be able to pick up those little advice and pieces, because that way they'll be able to also grow as an artist. And thank you for bringing that up. Um, I know with the whole COVID experience right now, a lot of companies or a lot of businesses has been hit, especially in the art and entertainment industry. So how do
Mhm.
you manage to cope with the pandemic and also stay active with your creativity as an artist?
So coping with the pandemic, hmm, this is a little bit confusing, I guess, because everybody has their set routines.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, every appointment you had, and a lot of plans you had are sort of canceled. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I have, I guess I could say I pride myself on, although the way I've gotten this way is not necessarily the best thing, but I'm very good at I'm very malleable. And I feel like as an artist, you actually have to be, COVID or no COVID,
Mm-hmm.
uh, things, you're not given the same security, or at least in my opinion, I feel it's a bit of fake security, but you're not given the same security that you're given at a 9 to 5 job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like when that happened, I shifted gears mentally real quick. I was just like, okay, whoa. I still want to put out this music. When I'm going to put it out is going to be later.
Yeah.
Visuals being shot, we're not doing it now. However, what I've learned, and this is something that's changed in me over the years, I'm still going to plan. I'm still going to plan
Mm-hmm.
like, we're doing it. I'm going to set a date that I feel makes sense. And if things don't make sense based on COVID, maybe shutting down again in fall, then I'll have
Mm-hmm.
to regroup again. But I'm still getting, doing the visual planning, getting quotes from that I need, and doing all of that stuff. I did start to get online a lot more, and really share, which is something that
Mm-hmm.
is it's important, as an artist, that you do that very often. And I feel like that was something that I needed to do more. And so I jumped right on. I started setting up little interviews. A lot of these people that I set up interviews are actually my peers, but they're in
Mm-hmm.
business, entrepreneurship, like yourself. And I started actually interviewing some of them and doing little things on my Instagram, researching about how to optimize my online presence more, and just
Mm-hmm.
trying to see what I can do for myself in this time. And it's actually been a bit, it's been strange because you don't know what's happening tomorrow, but it's been empowering because I feel like I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
million people to lean on right now, because I don't really know, no one knows how stable anything is, or even how stable anyone is right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And one thing that kept me really sane is actually I've been hiking a lot. So I've been going out in nature. It's been my exercise. Actually, I've only been doing a few push-ups here and there, but I've actually been going on really long hikes in the forest, all over Ontario. I went to British Columbia
Oh,
not too
wow.
long ago. Yeah. And I'd never done that before. It's weird because I grew up, a lot around nature and stuff. And I don't know, like everybody else, we just get working and we just forget. And I feel like it's actually changed my life. I think it's something I'm going to continue doing. So
That's amazing. I noticed that like COVID has also definitely kind of shift our mind around. Like, cause a lot of times, even myself, that there was a lot of project that I wanted to do, but I was always like on the go. And since COVID hit, I'm like, okay, pause, rewind. Now, what can I do with the free time that I have since I'm home all day? And that's the sense that I'm getting also, that you were able to do a lot of activity that you didn't necessarily were able to do it before. So it's amazing how things just kind of shifted around with the time, the crisis that we're in here. We're trying to make a
yes.
out of it too. Speaking of the whole COVID again, so do you see any shift in the music industry, or are the way that artists are now choosing to create their music lately amid the whole COVID situation?
That's a good question. It's definitely a mixed bag from what I've observed.
Yeah.
A mixed bag, and it's actually a mix of sometimes of extremes, actually. But definitely amongst my peers, and I guess also on a community level, I feel like there's more bonding between artists. I feel like a lot of that, oh, I'm up here thing is coming down a little bit. And we've actually been able to reach people that we might not have been able to reach before, and even help each other where we didn't even think to do that. So that's an amazing thing. In terms of the mainstream music industry, I feel like people are creating a little more low key. I think that some people are saving some of their bigger projects for a little further down the road. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And putting out songs that maybe they weren't sure about, but now they can just see, like, what does the audience think? Let me just tease this out here. Or I
Yeah.
have this project that got shelved. Why don't we put that out? So I definitely see that. I also see artists. I don't know if this was already going to happen, but there's a lot more positive material getting a spotlight, and a lot more political material getting a spotlight. And that music was always there. It was always there. These artists were always there. But I feel like now we need to hear certain messages. So we are getting that. The other extreme
Yeah.
is everybody's stressed, watching TV, watching violence, watching this and that, and people want to party. So, Cardi B and you saw Cardi B's song the other day. Everybody's talking about that.
Yeah.
We're all talking about why are we talking about this? However, people need to get away also. And so escapist music and all that stuff that's really relaxing, as well as music that helps to take you out of your mind and party, is getting popular. Of course, there's not many parties to go to, but I think people are having fun with that, because I think people have a craving to have fun, because there's been a lot going on. So
Speaking of having fun during the COVID, I noticed a lot of artists right now, my friends, they have these Insta live parties or like party rooms. Have you done one of those?
I haven't done a party, but I have been part of a baby reveal online where they're revealing the gender of the baby, but it was like a game they were playing, and a whole bunch of family got together and we could see everybody. And actually it was fun. So I have been to one of those. Other than that, I mean, I like being outside. So I've been able to still see certain friends who are okay with it. With distance, we sit, and we talk from a distance. And, of course, doctor's appointments and things like that. A lot of that is online. And the funny thing is, that's fine. Depending on what it is, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to sit in the office with everybody for an hour and a half. Let's schedule an appointment online, So in some cases I've been able to do that, and that's actually been kind of cool, So there's a lot of changes for sure.
Even within my industry, just for the digital marketing aspect and the fashion, we noticed that we have been saving a lot of time traveling just by doing these virtual meetings, and a lot of things that we know that we could have, most of the meeting could have just lasted a 5 minute, but we have to take that 1 hour trip to get down and sit down. But now, like, there's a lot of shift in demand. So I hope that's also with you guys, how you guys start to realizing that the time that you guys are using is more effective now virtually than to actually just do a lot of in-person stuff. But in the music industry, obviously a lot of people wanted to have that one-on-one connections with you, so it may be a little bit different in a way.
It is different, and it's hard. Anything, if I'm talking to someone about, numbers or, business background stuff, yeah, sure, we can have a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
But my engineer, I work with my engineer, like I go there. He does send me things. I'll like basically this, we make a song, we need to mix it. Okay. So we need to get all the levels right, all the volumes and effects or whatever needs to be done. And I usually have a bit of a vision for that. So my engineer might do a couple versions based on what I told him. And then I'll go in to see him. So I do go to see him, but we keep our distance. You know what I mean? We keep our distance. He has his place, sanitized and all of that stuff. But unfortunately, because it involves sound, and I'm very, I'm keen on how I want things to sound sonically, I must hear it in person and then tell him right then and there, switch this, do that. Because sometimes there's only so much you can type it. Sometimes it'll take, a while, depending. So yeah, it's hard. Songwriting, same thing. A lot of songwriters, we like to get together. Although there are some types of songwriters, sometimes you can do some things online. But if you're working acoustically and you're building something from the beginning, we're gonna have to meet. So
you're totally right. So speaking of working and with your sound engineer and whatnot, so, and also I know you touched a little bit that you were going to be releasing a music video at the end of the year or sometimes in 2020, right? So what are other projects that you're currently working on, like in terms of just music wise or entrepreneur wise?
So this album is about 9 or 10 tracks, and there's a lot surrounding putting out music. So that will take a good amount of my attention. Just thinking about, how I'm going to unfurl it. Because I'm not going to put out big music videos right away. I'm going to sort of get the awareness up, especially in my city, about what I'm doing. Get my dancer already waiting. They're like, hello, we need this. So, get that out to my dancer people. Cause, that they're a big part of my movement, especially this time around. It's going to be a lot of dancing. So that's it. And the music videos will come toward the winter, and then going back into 21 and then spring, because I have definitely a single for spring, summer of next year off of this album. But other than that, I am definitely already working on another project. I'm not going to say much about it right now, but it is a lot of vibes and it's very cultural, and that's what I will say. I am plotting and planning my merch line, and that's really exciting for me. Thank you. I'm going to be starting really focused. It'll start with just like a piece, and you'll start to see things come out. But that's something I've wanted to do for quite some time. Everybody who knows me knows that, and yeah, I'm finally, getting things going along. And other than that, it's definitely, looking into just other ways to expand my brand. I love being on here and talking to you. I love being on panel discussions. I was on Chat About Toronto about a month ago. That was amazing. So definitely, putting it out there that I am a singer, I am a songwriter, but there's so much more to who I am that I want to share. So that's definitely the focus right now.
So speaking of all the projects you're working on and all the exciting news that we can't wait for it to hear it, are we going to expect any talented features in the song or collaborations, or what's happening in there?
Well, I have been advised. I'm not going to be telling you guys. It is going to be one surprise. But I definitely worked with many producers. I do have a 1-2 feature. And I have also worked with a few writers, which is really cool and somewhat new for me. I haven't worked with a lot of writers in the past, and now that's opened up, and it's great. It's fun. I love it. I love the energy of the others. So I'm not going to tell you who. I know that's annoying, guys.
It's
But I'm
fine.
not going to do it. You're just going to have to wait and see. But I will tell you that nobody is a number one on this album. Everybody's a 10 or 11 out of 10 on this album. Everybody who's been with me and worked with me, and you will love it. And you will discover some fresh talent that you might not know. So
Awesome. So for those people that are currently be watching our discussion, where can they find you? Where are you at? Like all your social media? I know your Instagram, I just added in the handle here, but are you also on Facebook, other channels that you want to drop it and mention it?
yes, I am on Instagram, Shalli Sings. I'm on Twitter as Shalli Sings. I am on Facebook as Shalli fan page. And you can find me everywhere else, SoundCloud, all over where you can stream music. I have tons of music, guys. Like you will be like, wow, I have another album previous to the one that I'm gonna be putting out, and tons of singles. So please check me out. And when in doubt, Google me, Shalli, and you will find all my stuff.
That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in terms of you growing up, I know earlier you have mentioned that a lot of your music influence was also through your father. So who are other music giants that have influenced your career?
Wow. Well, there's a lot. I'm not going to list them all, but I will honestly say there are many. I was a huge old schooler growing up. Like, I mean, old school. Okay. I mean, like, I like, no offense if this is your era. I love 70s music. I love 80s music. So I was really heavy on that. But in terms of influences, I look at the best. Honestly, I look at the best. And to me, the best are a Michael Jackson, a Stevie Wonder, a Mary J. Blige. You know what I mean? Mary J. Blige actually influenced me quite a lot. Yeah, there's definitely a list. I like, there's so many people. But definitely I look at the veterans because they're skilled. They can, at the drop of a hair, they are money. At the drop of a hair, they can sing. At the drop of a hair, they can dance. They've trained themselves to be real entertainers. And that's why I admire those people. Of course, I also am influenced by, Bob Marley and things like that. My thing with music, I love good writing. I love messages also. I'll never put a project out that doesn't have a song about showing love to other people. You know what I mean? Not just relationship all day, Yeah. And I love artists that have a unique tone. And I love artists that are versatile, So artists that aren't afraid to try different looks and different sounds, but yet you still know it's them. That's the type of artist that I look to be. So pretty much most of the artists that came before me that have done that are those people. And then, of course, Janelle Monáe is one of those artists. I consider, I'm just thinking of Chronix, I feel like is one of those artists. He does reggae, but it's not all the same. You know what I mean? Like he can do something that sounds more like dancehall. He can do something that sounds like something that should be on a commercial for computers. He can do, you know what I mean? He can do a theme song for Jamaica.
So he's able to like shift around.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's my style. That is my style all day. And now that I said that, when you check out my music, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying,
Most definitely. So speaking of your music, as well as you just being an artist and working for so many years in the industry, what are some of the takeaway message or 3 messages that you would want to leave our audiences with?
3 messages.
Yeah.
1, you need to believe in yourself. And if you don't, you need to look for tools, which you can find a lot online right now, to help you to do that. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to go on the limb for yourself. You're not going to fight for that song that you know is a hit, because you're going to always feel like not sure. Now, that doesn't mean you can't listen to criticism. But even in listening to the criticism, you know it's not about you. Someone is just letting you know what they think about their song, your song. And if they have experience in the industry a certain way, you should listen, even if you choose not to take it. But you definitely need to believe in yourself to be taking that criticism also. So definitely look into how you can improve your self-confidence. Most of us as women, to be honest, are very insecure. Our society's kind of made it that way. And we can use work in that area. And even if you are pretty confident, there's some area that you could probably use work in. So I would definitely look into doing that. Like, there's so many resources online. So that's number one. Two, there's a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry, about the music business, right? Everything you need to know about the music business. It's been revised. There's a recent copy that came out not too long ago. All the online tools, everything you need to know, what a manager is, how to build your team. It just goes on and on. This book is literally, it is a Bible of the music industry to make you understand, if you don't get all the specifics, at least the basic concept of how things go, why they have described the music industry as being sort of a dirty business. So maybe they still do describe it that way. It's important to understand these things and just to be privy to certain things, even if you don't grasp all the very small details, but you should. So everything you need to know about the music business, if you Google that, you will find the book. It's available on Audible also. So I would suggest you get that book 100%. And then the third thing is you need to work on your craft. So whatever it is that you do creatively, you may do many things, but if you sing, you need to be singing. If you want to sing in front of people, you need to sing in front of people. So that might mean that at the beginning, you might not get paid a bag of money, but you need the experience. Singing in front of your family members, singing in front of one person. Believe it or not, it's harder to do that, to sing just in front of one person than it is sometimes in front of a crowd. So you need to practice your singing. And if you can find support for that also, there's so many vocal coaches in every city. There's a lot that do it online, which will bring down the cost. So I would suggest looking into that. That way, if you're practicing things after a while and you fall into an area where you're having an issue with your voice, you can look for that support. And sorry, there's one more.
Go ahead.
Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a mentor. You need many mentors. So always have it in your mind that you need a mentor. You might not like find one or hire one, but if you have it in your mind, when you're in networking situations, you will, as you meet people, you might, okay, this person's character is good and they have knowledge. I need to find a way to keep them in my circle. I need to ask them questions or whatever. And it's so important, especially in the music industry. Like, you'll feel very alone. There's a lot of people, like, you can't relate to most people, right? So that's all. That's a lot, but had to do
that. Was actually, no, these are some great negative knowledge that I feel like a lot of them is very important for a person to have, not just in the music industry, but in life in general. And having mentors, reading, doing your research, as well as just kind of training and being open to criticism. Those are all great negative knowledge. And I hope our viewers are going to be learning something from you today. And thank you so much for joining us. It was been a pleasure to meet you and a pleasure to have you in this platform. I feel like we got to know you even better. And now that we also get to enjoy your music because there is a story behind it. And thank you so much for being here. And for those who wanted to follow us, her Instagram message contact is over here. And I will also post all her link in the description down below. So you guys can also check her out on Instagram, follow her on Facebook, or you also just simply Google her, Shalli. That's the name. And also, I know that before we leave, one of our production manager, he's asking, what was it, the moment that you realized that music was for you? When was that?
When I tried to do something else. When I tried to do something else, I love photos. Okay. You'll see it in my page that I love creative direction. I love photography. Went there and I was like, these people are about to throw themselves on the cross for this art. And I did one gig with a friend of mine, a bass player. And I said, no, I need to do music because that's the only thing. If I'm sick, tired, hungry, I can still do it. I want to do it. It makes me happy. I want to share. It just makes me happy. So that's how I knew.
Amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your lovely voice with the world, because it's very unique and also humbling. Music is a therapy, music it's a motivation, and music is always going to carry the world around. So thank you for delivering your voice to the world. And also on behalf of Neecee Lexy Production, I would love to thank you, and come back anytime once you have your music ready and you wanted to talk about it and promote it and let the people know about it. Feel free to always reach back to us again. And there you guys have it. Shyla, I hope I pronounce your name right after this.
It's Shalli. You know what?
Shalli.
Think Bruce Lee, Shalli. You know,
Shalli, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Shalli.
Oh, Shalli. I'll make sure I will pronounce your name correctly in our next meeting, so that I'll take that as a homework to pronounce it and practice pronouncing it right.
I like that. Constant self-improvement, girl.
Yes. It's a pleasure meeting you, and have a good night.
So good to meet you too. Bye, guys. Bye, Neecee.